it's Tabitha. It's crazy. What is it? It's crazy dress up day in my school today, so that explains my crazy pigtails. The ties don't even match, so I'm being a little silly today. Today I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of being a specials teacher. Specials meaning anything from drama, music, art, gym, technology, whatever your school has for their specials. Just looking at the pros and cons of becoming a specials teacher as opposed to becoming a regular classroom teacher. Some of this may seem very specific to elementary school, and some of them are specific throughout K through 12. So just a fun video discussing the pros and cons. If you're considering being a specials teacher, you're having trouble decide if you would rather be a specials teacher or a regular classroom teacher. So one pro of being a specials teacher is, for the most part, usually if you're a specials teacher, you are teaching your passion. So for example, if someone specifically went to school to study music, drama, physical education, art, usually they tend to be pretty passionate about that subject. I know I am. So specifically, I love the fact that I know for a fact that I am definitely passionate about what I'm teaching. And yeah, you can't expect me to be super passionate about every one of the standards I have to teach. But for the most part, I really believe in drama. I've been in love with drama since I was 5 years old. So it does seem like a huge blessing to be teaching my absolute passion. And I've noticed that in general, specials teachers usually tend to be super passionate, of course, about what they are teaching, which makes it a little bit more exciting. Not that classroom teachers aren't passionate, but they just have so much to teach that it would kind of be unrealistic for them to be expected to be just as passionate about math as they would be about science or whatever. They have to teach all these different subjects. Most people aren't equally passionate about every subject. So in general, I feel like specials teachers are cool in that they get to go to work and they know for a fact that they will be teaching probably what is their biggest passion. A big con to being a specials teacher, of course, is that there are a lot less jobs. And I'm speaking from a drama teacher, which is pretty much a minority among specials anyway. So yeah, you don't have your pick of jobs like a regular classroom teacher would. If you think about it, in any given elementary school, how many regular teachers are there and how many specials teachers are there? That's a pretty huge difference in how many available jobs there are according to different schools. Even when you get into secondary education, there's still always going to be more jobs for math teachers and English teachers and social studies teachers and science teachers. The other pro is, in general, there's a lot less pressure as far as grading and testing. I know every school is different. For example, in my school, the older kids do get graded in their specials, but it really is just it's kind of like a satisfactory or not satisfactory. So it's basically, if you're in my room and you're doing things and you're trying hard, you're obviously going to get that satisfactory. You'd have to try really hard to not saying it's not possible, but that it's pretty easy to tell which one a kid is if they're trying or not trying, rather than other classroom teachers that have to worry about state tests and all those other pressures that they have. So in general, we do have a lot less pressure put on us. Con, which kind of might go with the last thing I just said, because there is less pressure, it is very easy to be undervalued. Of course, specials teachers, if you're watching, that you always feel like you're not necessarily always seen as equal. Sometimes the students don't really take your class seriously. I know this happens in high school too, where a student might not try as hard in their specials classes because they don't think it really matters. Same thing with elementary school. They don't really take it as seriously, and that is very annoying, and it could kind of hurt your morale if you feel like other people don't see the value in what you're doing. And especially, I luckily don't, but especially if you are in a school with admin that very much undervalues specials or treats them any differently than their other teachers, or just basically treats them like what they do isn't important, I can imagine that being an absolute nightmare. Another pro is you get to be the fun class. For the most part, specials tend to be a little bit more fun just because they're out of the ordinary. Specials classes in general just tend to be more creative and more active. So whether you're making something in art or running around in gym class, you're doing something different than what you've been doing all day, so kids see you as a fun break in their day. And I love the fact that the kids are excited to go to my class. It's not like I'm forcing them to do anything for the most part. con is more behavioral issues. So in general, obviously kids will respect their classroom teacher more than you, and that's for a huge amount of reasons. The main one I personally think is that it's hard to give a big consequence when you are a specials teacher, because you really only ever see that kid once a week or whenever. Now that we have our hybrid model, I see the same kids every 1.5 weeks. So it is a while until I see them again. So kids don't really take you seriously as far as, oh, what are they going to do to me? I don't see them that often. It doesn't matter if I do something rude in their class. Usually they just respect their classroom teacher more, and specials teachers have more behavioral issues. Luckily, it hasn't really been much of a problem this year. I love my school. There's no huge behavioral problems, but in general, it seems to be known around the board that usually kids are more likely to act out in a specials class because it is away from their usual teacher than they are in their homeroom. And also, it's worth saying that because a lot of our classes are more active and more creative, sometimes specials teachers purposefully have less structure. I know I do. I purposefully try to be a little bit more loose than a regular teacher would, just because drama is all about, again, letting go of certain things and having confidence and being loud sometimes and running around and being more free with your body. So honestly, it's not always the kid's fault. It could be just that your class and the nature of your class is more risky as terms of what can happen behaviorally. Pro is that I get to know all of the students in my building. I absolutely love this. I love feeling like I have 500 friends and they all know me and I know all of them. I love being that person that's able, for the most part, I'm not perfect, but I try really hard. I'm able to name most of the kids in my school by their first name. I usually can remember what teacher they are, what class they're in, and as years go on, I remember things about them and I get to know them. So honestly, whenever a specials teacher wants to feel like a celebrity, all I have to do is walk into a room like a cafeteria or an assembly, and it's just that amazing feeling of having a bunch of kids waving at you and saying hi. You feel like a celebrity because they all know you, and that's not how regular teachers usually feel, because they only ever get close to the people in their specific class. And even if they are in a school for years, they obviously aren't necessarily teaching every single kid in that school. That is something that is specific to specials teachers that I really like. Con that goes along with that pro is you have to teach every kid in this school, which is really nice and exciting, but it also is hard, because think about it. Every single kid in your school that has behavioral issues, every single class that is a difficult class, you have to teach them at some point. And it's not like, oh, I have a good class this year will be a breeze. It's no matter what, I will have all of the problems and I will have all of the successes. But whenever something is more difficult, if there's a difficult student, if there's a difficult class, you're not going to have to deal with it because you teach all the students. Go along with that, it is very overwhelming when you think about all the IEPs and you think about all the learning disabilities and all just the diversity of your school. Diversity is amazing, and having kids from all different backgrounds and levels is amazing, but it is intimidating as a teacher starting out, feeling like you have to meet the needs of all of these students. It's not like you just have 20 kids that you need to master by the end of the school year. It's that you need to be able to understand and successfully teach 500 kids in 1 year. So that can be very intimidating. Another pro for being a specials teacher, especially if you're in a school for a while, is that you get to know kids through the years. I actually really love seeing kids change. Right now, the kids that I taught in kindergarten my first year, they are now in 3rd grade, which is the second to oldest in the school. And I just find it so cool that I remember things about them from when they were in kindergarten. I can remember them playing the games as kindergartners, and now I'm seeing them act out scenes in 3rd grade. I just find that so cool that I get to see that journey, and I get to see my curriculum right in front of me. I get to see a child go through all these years of drama and how they come out of it at the end. And I just love, and it feels good, and I feel like the kids benefit from knowing you all these years too. Because yes, their classroom teacher, they always get really close to their classroom teachers, of course, but especially towards the beginning of the year, I feel like the specials teachers are the friendly, familiar face that they see. It's like, oh, I have a new teacher, but I know Miss J, she's the drama teacher, or I know the gym teacher and the art teacher. So I love the fact that we're kind of a constant in their life, and we get to see them progress, which I love so much. A con is, for some reason, no matter how great I feel at the beginning of the year, that I can tell a classroom teacher, oh, you have a good class, or oh, that kid is so cute, or oh, I love them. No matter what, by, I want to say, Christmas break, if not earlier, of course, all of the kids have this deep, special connection to their classroom teacher that is just different from the one that you have with them, even if you have taught them for years. I've just noticed it. If they're sad, they go to their teacher. If they need something, they'll ask their teacher. So it's kind of like you're the fun aunt that they come to all the time, and they get to have fun, and you get to just, oh, let me have fun with you. Okay, I'm sending you back off to mom and dad, which can be a good thing. But also, you and your aunt are never going to be as close as you and your mom, even though you and your mom go through more hardships, and obviously you might struggle more, and it might be less out of the ordinary. It is very hard not to get a little bit jealous when you see how close the kids get to their homeroom teachers. Is more independence, especially in an elementary school where I am the only drama teacher. I don't really have to align with anyone else. I really don't have anyone else telling me what to do or what to teach. I have my standards, obviously, from the state, and then I have my education, and then I have what I'm passionate about, and I get to put that all together and make my own program. And I just feel like specials teachers in general, they do get a lot of independence, and when you compare it to regular classroom teachers. Con is more independence, and that is just basically feeling alone sometimes. Like, for example, if you're a third grade teacher and you need help, all you have to do is ask the other third grade teachers, hey, how are you teaching this? Oh, can we share this resource? Blah, blah, blah. But for me, as the only drama teacher in my building, if I need help, I have to go outside my building. There's no one literally right here that can help me. There is nobody that I can share lessons with. There is no one that can give me drama-specific resources. I have to find all of that on my own, which can feel a little lonely. And I'm sure in other schools, like I do know a lot of other schools that they have 3 music teachers or 3 art teachers, and especially in high school that you'll see more of that. But specifically for an elementary school, a lot of the times you are the only person teaching your subject in a building, so it can feel a little bit intimidating, and you can feel a little bit like your own little island in a not so good way. Pro is that I am not attached to a class. What I mean is that I have a classroom, and it's like my house, and it's my home, and it's mine, and it's my space. And the kids are visitors in my space, and they go in and out, and I get to welcome them, and then I have to say goodbye, but it is my space. Whereas if you are a classroom teacher, I don't know, you'd have to ask the classroom teacher, but I don't know if they ever really feel like it's just their space, because obviously the kids live there too, and it's harder for them to have a private moment. If they are in lunch, they need to go away, or if they need a moment, they need to leave their classroom. But that's where the kids are always going to be for the most part. In the morning, the kids are there. Before dismissal, the kids are there. I do like feeling like, okay, as soon as this class is over, I have 5 minutes to myself. Even just knowing that in all the empty spaces throughout the day, this room is completely mine. That is just a nice, independent feeling to feel during the day. Another thing that can be considered a con, which isn't a con for me because I love it, but I'm sure for other people it can be considered a con, is that usually specials teachers are required or expected to do more things after school, as in coaching teams or running a chorus or an art club or a drama club or whatever, because of all the things I've been telling you, as in there is less pressure, you do have less testing, it is kind of an unspoken and sometimes spoken thing that specials teachers need to pick up a little bit more weight when it comes to the after school. The reason I say it's not a con for me is that honestly that's the reason I became a drama teacher. I love doing things after school. I love directing plays. I love having a drama club, and I think it's the best part about my job. But I can tell that if somebody didn't want to work more hours, because that's just extra time and you're already here 7 hours a day. So if you're somebody who the thought of you being in school 10 hours a day freaks you out, then maybe being a specials teacher isn't the way to go, just because we are sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes we are expected to be here longer than everybody else. I'm going to end this on a really nice positive note that a pro to both is that you get to work with students. No matter what you are teaching, no matter what grade, no matter what type of school, you get to work with kids. And no matter what you decide to teach, whether it's being a classroom teacher, a specials teacher, or a counselor, high school, middle, or elementary school, if you know you want to work with kids, you would rather do that than anything else. And if you are able to find any job where you can work with kids and that's something you like and that you're passionate about, just go for it. Honestly, that's what gets me up in the morning. I know that's what gets all my coworkers up in the morning. It's even all about what you are teaching. It's the fact that you are passionate about kids, you are passionate about education, and you want to change their lives for the better. And honestly, the relationships that all teachers make with their students, there's nothing like it, and that's the main reason I love my job. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was a fun video for you to watch. If you're interested in more videos about being a drama teacher or a teacher in general, or about theater, feel free to subscribe and like this video so you can always be kept in the loop. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!